Ray, if you could start us off and talk about, I think screenplay is kind of the place everything begins because the whole project, every project is based upon it and everything hangs off of it. Can you talk about what mistakes producers make early on that make their screenplay significantly more difficult to develop, produce, find talent for, etc.?
Sure. First of all, good evening. Thanks for having us on. You're asking sort of a nebulous question that has a couple different answers, but I think, if you're starting at the screenplay level, you're looking at, most people come in, they go, I got a screenplay. It's perfect. All I need is financing. And you go, well, there's a couple steps, in between that. And I think the mistake that I've seen most is people look at their screenplay and they're locked into it. They don't know who their market is. They don't know how they're going to market it. They don't know, by who the market is, who's the audience. They don't know how to reach the audience. They have no idea. They just think there's some magic tree that they can shake and financing will fall out of it. And their screenplay is going to get made. Screenplays are a collaborative effort. I know because I started out as a screenwriter. It's not just you sitting down and writing something and then all of a sudden get financed. We ask that a lot of clients get coverage on their screenplays so that they have a better idea or a third party objective viewpoint of what's marketable about this, what's not, what's the character development. Beyond the creative side of character development, if I may take a moment, development is this sort of euphemistic term that everybody throws around. Nobody seems to have an idea of what it really is. You go up to people and you go, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm in development on a film. Well, what's that mean? I don't know. I'm trying to get financing. Okay. Do you have all the elements you need that are necessary to get your financing? Well, I don't know what that is. So development for us is just a laundry list of things that you have to have in place in order to meet the requirements for production funding. And what I mean by that is whether you're going through debt financing, which is how 90 to 95% of all films are financed. A debt mechanism through a bank, whether you're going through deficit financing through somebody like Amazon Studios or Hulu, whether you're going through private equity through somebody like Gulf Capital, they all want to see the same things. They want to see risk mitigation and they want to see collateral. Everything in between those two bookends is development. Risk mitigation is in the form of analytics and data, which is why we know Jeff Hardy so well, because he does analytics and data. They'll do comparisons and trends, market analysis, projections, world release data metrics, audience saturation parts, all the stuff you and I could care less about. But anybody in a financial situation would like to use and see to mitigate the risk. Who's your audience? How are you going to reach them? What's your methodology of deployment into the marketplace? All these questions need to be answered by anybody who's going to give you money, make a film. That's the one end. That's the risk mitigation, the analytics data. And Jeff, by the way, will put together an analytics package, which is, I'm not kidding, 100 to 130 pages of data. It's like a phone book. And it has all those things that you need to have. And it gives you as a filmmaker or producer, it gives you a blueprint for how you're going to execute this and make this film and put it into the marketplace. The other end of it is collateral. A collateral instrument is no less than a distribution sales agreement with minimum sales guarantees and or pre-sales in the foreign market. And most people go, oh, I can't get that. I need talent. And it's a chicken and egg of distributors want to see talent before they'll sign a distribution deal. And the distribution needs to be in place before talent will get on board. That's actually not the case lately, because 90% of what distributors are looking for is an audience. Now, they thought they were looking for talent, but talent brings an audience, at least it used to. Nowadays, not so much. But what they need is an audience. They need to know who's your audience, how do you reach it? Because distributors are unfortunately very lazy and unimaginative. But if you'll do half of their job for them and build an audience, then they'll give you a minimum sales guarantee that you require to take to the bank to get financing, get talent, to get your film made. So I said the bookends are risk mitigation and collateral, which is analytics data and distribution. Everything in between is development. You have building an audience. We use companies like Prometheus and Ribo Media. They're digital marketing companies. We do legal formation. We put together all the elements necessary. We do a budget and schedule that's bondable for a completion bond. We put together all these elements, graphic arts components. So there's a visual medium, and we create a package so that when we go to a finance institution and they go, well, do you have this? You go, yeah, that's on page 57. Well, what about distribution? Here's our distribution sales agreement. So what you're doing is you're mitigating that risk and giving a bank a reason to give you money. I hope I didn't stray too far and at least
No,
covered what you're looking for.
no, I think it's really good. I think it provides a lot of context for people to understand the fundamentals of the script has to be marketable, and most people don't know what that means. They have an idea what it means, but they don't actually understand. So, Jeffrey, can you talk for a few minutes about the are there mistakes that people make? Somebody brings in their baby, which is the script that they've spent 2 or 3 or 5 years working on and that they feel very passionate about from a spiritual standpoint. It's the film that they always wanted to make, and, they know other filmmakers have brought in projects like that, like Quentin Tarantino's, Reservoir Dogs, and we go, "Why can't I do that with my project?" Can you talk about the things that mistakes that people make in the screenplay or by designing the screenplay or writing the screenplay or insisting that their screenplay not change that translate into their film not being fundable?
And there's a lot of little elements to that. A story is a matrix of differing motivations of the characters. And most people who are writing their scripts are not looking at those characters and their motivations and the matrix, which drives the action. Okay. They're lost in, are we going on the bridge? Or are we going up in a helicopter? Or where are we going? Etc. And some of that is the sexiness of writing, just being lost in that process. So I think it's really important for a script to go through real development, like Ray was saying, getting coverage that's looking at it, broad view, and how does it fit into the market. And almost every filmmaker we work with gets pushed to a certain degree to take their project further, to refine their project. So the very first mistake they make is it's just right the way it is. Okay. It's never just right until it's gelled and shot, and then it's as right as it could be. You see what I'm saying? Based on turning it off, then every film has to be pushed and pushed to get it to the best state it can be.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I've mentioned before is that this whole idea that you've got a project, and within the project itself is this grand idea that if you just pitch it the right way, all the tumblers, or as Ray said, all the money will fall out of the tree. All the tumblers will click and the safe will open and the money will come out.
Mhm.
That's like so rare as to be almost never. That's a golden bird that nobody has.
Mhm.
So you really have to, as a very first step, realize that your project is going to need to be refined as you go forward. There are a lot of minds that will get together around a project. And certainly we all do that when we're working on one. We all, go over it that way. And another mistake I think that's made is it's not so much in the script, it's the way you're approaching the business. If you are not approaching it as an entrepreneur, even if you're not going to do everything, if you're not thinking about it entrepreneurially from the business aspects and so much that you are going to have to do and or help make decisions about, then I think you're making a really big mistake coming into it. And you need to be ready for both of those.